Well, it happened. Someone suggested, hey, why don't you do the Mixed Up Mystics podcast in front of a live studio audience and we can all be part of the conversation. And we did it. So enjoy this conversation. I think you're going to love it. It's entitled The Problem with Christianity. And we invited a small group of people to be a part of this conversation with us. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. I know we did. So check it out.
Mixed Up Mystics is a presentation of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners. Please like and subscribe to Mystics, and always, we invite you to share this podcast with anyone you think will get it. Also, join us for our other podcast, Dreamers Live, entertaining conversations about living intentionally, and Got a Minute mini podcast, pairing humorous columns with original music. And now, please join us for Mixed Up Mystics, live from the Pioneer Dream Studios.
Well done, well done. Hey, you may know if you're listening at home that this is not the way we normally open the show. This is a first ever. This is our first live podcast for Mixed Up Mystics. So if you've been listening to the last couple episodes of the podcast, you know that our friend Brian suggested, hey, why don't we do this in person sometime? And we said, that's a stupid idea. And then we sat on it for a little bit, and then we thought, maybe it's not that stupid after all. And so we called a couple of friends, and we're doing it. So
Yes.
That is the sound right now. Let's hear you guys in the back again.
All right.
Yes. That is the sound of 300 ravenous souls loving the show. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys sound amazing.
You do sound amazing. So
I love
we're so
it.
thrilled you're here and thrilled that we get to do this. And we'll see how our timing goes. I don't know. This may throw everything off. But speaking of which, so Anjanette and I were having, as usual, Anjanette has no idea what we're talking about, even though this is a public gathering tonight.
Nah, it'll be fine.
So about 2 weeks ago, we were at home, which was odd, and it happened to be a Sunday afternoon, and we had this little tiny room, which we refer to as the lounge. It has a little closet we've converted into a bar. We did kind of retro wallpaper on one wall and some chairs, and it's comfortable. We have an actual LP player, record player in there. And we actually spin LPs.
We do.
We're that group.
We're
those
cooler
people.
than you
Yeah,
are.
we're cooler than you,
Yeah.
and we sip cocktails. And so we're back, and we're sipping cocktails, and we're listening to some music on a record, and Anjanette comes back in, and she starts relating a story.
I did? Okay.
Yes, it was
What'd I say?
brilliant. And so, no, you were just recounting that someone that we knew that we were closely connected to had done something kind of wrong. They'd messed something up. They had, I don't know how else to describe it. So they had messed something up.
Was I being judgmental about it?
No, you were just saying, in the process, you were describing it, and you were saying, so here's what happened. They
Okay.
did this. They soiled themselves.
It happens.
It happens.
To all of
and
us.
In the process of soiling themselves, here's how they responded. And it was mostly deflection. It was mostly blame. So you screw up, and then you have a couple of different options on how you're going to respond to that. I screwed up. These are my choices.
Okay.
So choice number one for this particular person was blame. So let's deflect. Let's not face it. Let's push it. Let's push all the attention over here. And then that kind of moves into a whole other place, which is this overt, unhealthy guilt and shame, which if you're Catholic, you're here.
Yes.
And
I
so
relate with guilt and shame. Who relates with guilt and shame?
Yeah.
That
so
comes
you're
real
like
easy.
the record that has a scratch in it. It just kind of keeps me, I'm
Yeah.
such a shit. That's the first one, by the way. If you're keeping tallies
was
on
your
what...
first cuss word.
Yeah, first
Good
cuss word.
job.
I'm such a
It was
shit, and I'm
tasteful.
never... And on this and this, and oh my gosh, and I'll never feel good again, and I feel so terrible. And so the guilt, which maybe in a diabolical kind of way, actually ends up being kind of self-focused, which is a funny thing. You feel so horrible about what you've done that you actually end up focusing on yourself more.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you have that, and then the next option is like martyr. So the martyr thing is saying, "Oh, I did this as a kid a lot. I'm so horrible. I'll never get it right. I screw up every time. I never get it right. I never do this. Never." And all you're really looking for is someone else to step in and say, "No, it's not you. You're not that bad.
Not that bad.
But you get there by saying, "I'm such a snail. I'm a worm. Nobody likes me," which is again a self-focused thing. And then you have this other option, which is the least comfortable option, I think, which is this thing of saying, which is remorse. Remorse is different than guilt, I think. Remorse is different than just acknowledgement. Remorse is a thing where you look at something and you say, "Oh, I did this to myself or to someone else, and that hurt them, and I feel legitimately bad for hurting someone. Not because I got caught, not because I am guilty, but because of the pain that's involved. I feel the remorse now. I feel sorrow that I did this thing." And so in the midst of having this brilliant conversation
what's
with
crazy? You've gone through this whole thing and I still have no idea what story it was or who it is.
Thank you that it meant so much to you. I
It was
appreciate
obviously,
that.
like I said, I can remember what your birth date is and your favorite animal, but I don't know what you're talking about. But I believe you.
Yes.
I believe what you say, for sure.
And in the midst of this conversation, my realization was, and that's what I don't like about Christianity.
Oh.
In Christianity, in the true practice of Christianity, there's no place to hide.
Oh.
So in everything else, you can deflect, and everything else you can blame, and everything else you can dodge, and everything else you can say, "Look over there," and do shadow animals. Let's see this. And in Christianity, you are just naked with Jesus standing in the attic of your heart with a flashlight, and he's saying, "We both see this, right? You see this, I see this, this is here, right?" And you have to say, "Yes," or "No, look over here." And that's an amazing concept.
Yeah.
That's a specific thing. If you are in counseling, as our friend is Lisa over here, that may be the most difficult thing, is having someone face, acknowledge, see and acknowledge, and don't deflect, and just look at this thing. And sometimes it takes a long time to do the roundabout till you finally land on that spot and say, "Okay, I can see this now."
Yeah.
And that's a really difficult thing.
It is tough. That's the thing about trying to follow what Jesus taught that I found is honesty is of the highest value.
Yeah.
I mean, there really isn't a place to hide. I mean, if we feel that God knows our thoughts in our heart and he looks at us in a loving way, he's going to see that whether we acknowledge it or not, right?
Right.
And I mean, why do you think most people are afraid, all people are afraid to acknowledge our own wrongdoing?
Well,
I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Speaking of honesty, and I flashed into the Billy Joel song, "Honesty." Such a lonely word.
Oh.
But mostly what I need from you.
That's a good
Randy
song.
had it.
Yeah.
Well, it's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And I think that what's most difficult about it and what is also most appealing about it is the only way we get there is at a certain comfort level. I trust you. We can look at this together because I know you're not going to leave me. I trust you because you already see this, and yet we're still here together. So you already see this, and you're just asking, do I see this?
Yeah.
Can I admit this is happening? It's not like we're surprising Jesus when we go in there and say, "Hey, I shat myself." And he's like, "Oh my God, really?" He's like, "Yes, I know. I was there." And so, yeah, the idea of that is our comfort level
Yeah.
with the person of Jesus that enables us to have a certain level of grace to say, "Okay, I feel secure enough. I can go there now. I can go into that place now."
Yeah. Do you guys find that? So true honesty here, I have levels of friendship. So we know, I think everybody does, if we're honest about it. We know a lot of people and we have a lot of friends. But there are certain people that I feel comfortable with to share this much stuff with. And then there's this, and then there's a real short list of the people who know my shit and know it well. And the
we
reason,
are really racking up those points. We should
yeah,
have
we've
like
only
a
said the S word. That's not. It's still pretty tasteful.
Yeah.
The goal isn't to cuss, but that's just the truth. And there's a real tiny list. And who are the people that I'm willing to share that top with? The people I feel most loved and accepted by for who I am, right? Because the people down here, if I say that, understandably, they might be like, oh, let's not do coffee again. Like, oh, really? You struggle with that? Well, I don't struggle with that. So,
Well, how many of you have had a coffee or a conversation with someone and they took a risk? They really bared their soul to you. They really let it out. This is what happened. And then the next time they see you, it's like they don't know you.
yeah.
Because they realize they shat themselves in front of you, right?
And so they're embarrassed at, outside of the moment that they revealed that much
Right.
information.
So
And-
now you are dead to me because you know my poo-poo.
Yes.
And now we can't do this anymore.
Well, and
right?
I mean, you guys know on the podcast, because we've talked about this, I grew up, my parents are still ministers. So we grew up
What?
in, yes.
Oh.
And they're here tonight. My mom, so brave. Good job for coming, Mom, and all the cussing. But they've taken care of people in ministry their entire career. So in traditional ministry, they started their own church, this artsy, cool gathering of people we have now. And there are people who, when Mom and Dad did a lot of pastoral counseling, would reveal things they'd been through in the way their life, things they struggled with. And my parents were always private about that, I know, and loving toward them. But many of them would flee the church immediately after, right. sharing their stuff because they felt embarrassed, I think, by that, even though you guys were always very loving. So I think that's it. It's the safety that we feel, unconditional love.
Bring up the fact that your parents are in the house. And
shout out to Jason and Jonah.
One of the 300 in attendance tonight. And so your dad used to frame this conversation, I think, especially when we were coming up in the 90s, in terms of like a spirit of religion or a practice of religion, and versus kind of this authentic experience we have. So in the practice of religion or the spirit of religion, there's a real high emphasis on symbolism over substance. It's a really big emphasis on outward appearances, on outward actions, on these things that we can do that distract us and keep us away from the internal conversation. So,
and you find that in any denomination.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's everywhere, and it's
human
nature. In our
nature.
country right now, we're friends here, so I can say this. That same spirit, because I've said this on the podcast already. That same spirit of religion, that same thing, that same faux religion, is the same thing we see so often now in faux patriotism. So this thing that values substance or values symbolism over the substance, values all the symbols we have over the people that are our country. So in the way of religion, you can exalt these actions, you can exalt these works, you can exalt a liturgy over the person you're supposed to be celebrating. And it's really attractive because in a lot of ways the religion will give you things you can do. I can go do these things.
Yeah.
I can flog myself. I can say the Hail Mary 3 times. I can do these things.
Yeah.
I can do all these physical things, but they don't really get to the penetrated
heart of the matter.
the issue. It's
Who
still
am
not
I
you
at?
and Jesus naked in the attic of your heart saying, yes, that's there.
Who are my list makers, like type A? You guys are, organized, like people that make lists on a Sunday. That's me, just to kind of keep organized.
Here's
I learned
how I
that
wanna
from
spend
Mom.
my Sunday.
Just to kind of, here's how I want to spend my Sunday, because my mind's like pew, 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 pew. So I have to make lists. But that's kind of, I think, what we want spiritually,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
There's comfort in a system. There's nothing wrong. Like, I love it going to the gym, and they're like, here's what we're going to do. We're like, sweet, I'll do that. I don't
Right.
have to think about it, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's what our human nature is, to like, please show me the steps that I have to do to make this work, and I will do it. And then if you're trying to follow Jesus, he just blows all that up. He's like, he's like, no, it's about your heart. It's about your love for me, with me, and how you treat others. What? That's so much harder than making a list.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather just go to church and do the thing and
Easier.
just check it off the list?
Yeah.
Versus having someone reveal things in your heart rather than having, it's so much more enjoyable to say, let's let these paid professionals over here go love people because they're outgoing. I'm an introvert. I don't really need to go out of my way to love someone or to check on someone or to consider someone or to serve someone because I'm an introvert. Let's let somebody else do that. Well, that's a works thing. That is an easy checkoff thing. It doesn't have anything to do with my heart, in the process, right?
Yeah.
And that's so living with Anjanette and also her family, that was a thing. I thought of myself as an introvert. I thought of myself as someone who could do all the behind the scenes. I loved doing the behind the scenes stuff. But looking someone in the eye and having a conversation with them, I hated that.
Yeah. You had to give of
but
yourself.
That was the important thing, right? That's why still today, if you and I start talking in about 2.5 minutes, I will physically start backing up because I am trying to extricate myself from the conversation.
You're doing so good,
But
though.
Anjanette really, and her family really showed me that. The idea of seeing someone, loving someone, caring about them, going to that place. Those are the most difficult things and the richest things. The idea of getting up in the morning and being quiet and having to acknowledge in the attic, yes, that is there. Well, what's amazing about all this, I think, this theme that's running through, because you just mentioned it, is this intimacy. There's an intimacy that gives you the grace to look at that stuff and acknowledge it's there. But there's also an intimacy that happens when you do that. It's the thing. So last night we were at Friday Night Church. Jason referenced the story of the prodigal son. Somehow you go through that whole thing. Hey, Dad, give me my half. I'm leaving. I'm blowing this popsicle stand. I'm getting the hell out of here. And you go out and you do it and you mess up your life and you literally soil yourself. And then you've screwed everything up and you wasted half of the inheritance. Everything his dad has worked for, half of it gone. Mm-hmm. And you show up with a rehearsed speech that says, I've seen this and I'm naked and this is what's happened, and he has true remorse. Mm-hmm. And his dad runs to him, and somehow when that story finishes, you get the idea there is greater intimacy now between the son and the dad than there was when the son left before he screwed everything up.
Yeah.
And that's this weird thing that somehow forgiveness brings. Somehow you finish forgiveness or accomplish forgiveness, and you have more intimacy than before you screwed up, before the sin happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what makes it worth it. It's like if you're my closest friend, we've been that way for a long time. Thank you. You're welcome.
One of
this
my
would have been
top
awkward
five.
if I'd said it was someone else.
You're one of my top 5 friends.
You're my top 5. But when I have wronged you and hurt your feelings, which happens on the regular.
About every 5 years.
Try working together, raising a kid together, and living together. It's good times sometimes because the same shit's with you at work as it's at home. If it's like, how was your day? Oh, wait, I was there. It sucked. But anyway, it also has an upside. But when I am willing finally to see how I've wronged you and that hurt, whatever that is, and I come to you and you give me grace, which you do, you're great at doing that, and you say, hey, it's okay. It was a rough day, and I understand. I don't feel further away from you. I feel closer.
Right.
That's the beauty. That's what makes it worth it. We talk about God wanting honesty from our hearts and needing us to be willing to admit that, and we're scared to do that. And why are we scared to do that? Because we're afraid that He won't still love us, right? That God's love and grace won't be there. And He's already seeing those things, but we still don't want to say it. But the moment, if you guys ever had a situation, I had one last night, I have to ask so much forgiveness on Thursday mornings. I'll be honest with you. I love helping in our church. There's not anything wrong with anyone. It's just a lot of humans are there. Does that make sense? And there's a lot of situations, and we're in a position of service where we're helping and taking care of things. And my family, anybody who's been a teacher or in service or in physical therapy, you guys know, people take a lot. And so here we are trying to have this experience. A lot of times I'll be leading the music or whatever. And there's just so many people that are just pissing me off. They're just so needy. And they're also wonderful. And they're probably annoyed with me. My point is, I get home from the experience a lot of times. And that's when I see my heart.
Yeah.
And that's what I hate about it is I'm like, crap, that stuff is still in there. Those judgments, those things. And until I'm willing, this is how it works in my relationship with God. This isn't, everybody has their own way. But for me, when I stop and say, that's still in there and I'm sorry. And a lot of times for me, I don't know if you guys find this, but I usually do the right thing. So I usually do. I'm a good girl and I do the right thing and I rarely slip up with my mouth. It's the internal battle that I'm having and I'm faced with it smack dab. And that's when I'm like, God, okay, man. But as soon as I am willing to admit what that is, and I do in a sweet moment of just, I'm sorry, help me be better.
Yeah.
What do I feel? His spirit in that closeness, restored and better. And that's the beauty of, I think, being willing, no matter how long it takes, to confront our wrongs.
Yeah.
Even if we don't act on them, but it's that battle, right? Am I the only one? You guys are like, I don't know.
They're just shocked that you're messing things up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I feel like in the last year, I've gotten more comfortable with this thing that we're calling prayer, a conversation, whatever it is. I pray a lot more out loud than I used to, and I don't know why, but it seems to really help. And then B, I've been a lot more honest about stuff and praying. God, I don't want to do this because I'm afraid they're going to come over and then never leave. God, I don't want to do this because I don't like being with this person. I don't feel like doing this.
And so you're just like straight up, yeah.
Would you please help me? Yeah, I feel like it's the same thing. We're in the attic together. He sees it, so I'm just agreeing with the pile of stuff that's in the attic. Yes, that you're right. That's there, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to get rid of that pile. I don't know what to do with this thing. And somehow, in being blatantly honest with them, there's some relief that happens in that.
Oh yeah, definitely. You guys have heard me talk on the podcast that I love the Psalms. They're like song lyrics and poetry. And I think my dad and mom taught us these from when we were very young. And really, whatever faith orientation you come from, or read the Psalms, man. They're gorgeous. But my favorite thing about them, I remember you teaching this when I was in your first youth group, Dad, when I was pre-youth group age. Like King David wrote most of those, or half of them anyway, and he would oftentimes when he was struggling start out, God, why have you forsaken me?
What the hell?
What the hell? You have totally left me. I'm like seriously in a cave and people are trying to kill me. And we're saying that metaphorically, but he was like literally in a cave and people were trying to kill him. Yeah. And he's like, why have you left me? You said that you were going to be with me. And I don't feel like you're with me right now.
Yes.
And he was blatantly honest with God. And in that beauty, then there'll be a verse that pivots and it'll be like, but I know you've been good to me. And I know that you love me. And I've seen your goodness in my life in these other ways. And I will continue to worship you and follow you. And so, but it starts with him just laying that on the line. He's not trying to dress it up at all. And I think that's why I like it. And you're right, that does help. I like saying it specifically. I really don't like that person. That's why I don't want to go to the coffee. So can you help me love them?
Absolutely
better?
Try it. And I spend about 5 minutes in the car before I get to most places going, I don't want to be here. But would you please help me? Would you please, I don't have anything to give anybody. Would you please fill me up so that I have something I could give that would be useful? Because no one needs more of me, but we need more of you. And there's two really contrasting experiences that happen in the Gospels that I think kind of illustrate this deal a little bit. One is, the very few times you ever see Jesus angry in the Gospels, religious people. And so he gets a hold of some religious people and they're pushing him and they're challenging him, which I always find amazing. And then Jesus says, you search the whole world over to make one convert, and when it's all done, you make him twice the son of hell as you are.
Ouch.
Because religion seeks assimilation. You found this thing that should be joyous. You find this thing that should be hopeful. Now, come into the fold and do the thing we ask you to do, and do it the way we ask you to do it, and dress the way we want you to dress. Assimilation. In contrast, you get in this Gospel of Luke, which is really interesting because Luke's just essentially a reporter who's showing up to the scene late. So he goes around and he interviews everybody. And so his accounts are different and in a different order than the other gospels. It's really interesting. It's finally he gets to this one gospel. It's way early in his gospel. In the other gospels, it happens right before Jesus dies. But in this particular case, in Luke, it happens way early, like in chapter 7.
You sound so scholarly right now.
I know.
I'm very impressed.
I'm just making all this shit up. So
Chapter
don't
7?
fact check this.
In
don't,
Luke 7:12.
Don't read Luke 7.
I'm like, wow.
So in Luke 7, of course, he's there. He goes to the religious leader's house. And the entire time he's there, there is a woman behind a woman for axe murderers. And so anyway, he's there trying to have dinner, and there's a woman crying behind him, distracting and annoying. And she's wetting his feet with her tears, and she's drying his feet with her hair, and she's pouring perfume over. And all the religious leader can think is if this guy was worth his salt, he would know who this person is. And in the Luke account of it, he says, you're missing it. Because this person has had an experience. If you've ever known grace, if you've ever missed a car wreck, if you've ever missed a thing, if you've ever been on the phone and they said, well, I can waive those fees for you. If you've ever been forgiven of something, in that moment, all you want is everyone else to have that same deal. Yeah. Everyone else should have this. And that's Jesus's account of Mary Magdalene. She was in a shit fest. It did not go well. Things were not going good in her life. And she had a rescue and a transformation. And her resulting action was to love. And then Jesus responds by saying, those who have been forgiven little, love little. And those are the two things. Religion wants you to assimilate, wants you to jump on board, wants you to do the things, wants you to get symbolic and do the behaviors. And the other thing is a transformation of our hearts that says, I just want everybody else to have this. I want everyone else to know this love. I've known love now. I've been transformed, and everyone should have this. Everyone should feel this, right?
Yeah. It's good stuff.
What about you guys?
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks
what are
for
you guys
being
doing
here.
here?
Yeah. Well, ask a specific question. I bet they'll come up. What do you think?
Does anyone
What would you like to say to them?
an experience like this? Yes. Go ahead, Pam. Come on up.
Come on up, Pam.
This is Pam
Hi, Pam.
walking around the arena,
She
making her
is.
way.
It's a long ways around.
Yeah, it's such a huge.
Don't
it's a
worry, I'll add
huge
reverb to that to make it sound
center
bigger.
we're in, so.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. I think it's interesting you talk about the people, and this was you, Anjanette, that reveal themselves and then they avoid you.
Yeah.
Because I think we all need to look at ourselves. We all reveal ourselves, and then do we start avoiding?
Oh, yeah.
And it's one thing to avoid another human, but we need to make sure we're not avoiding Jesus in that conversation and understanding why, what happened, and stuff. The other comment I want to make is,
that's good.
Anjanette, I think you're very generous that the people that are kind of at the lower level, your people on the podcast can't see your hand motions.
Oh, yeah.
So you have
That's
this
right.
lower level
Yeah.
group of friends, and then another group of friends that are a little higher, and then the friends you talk to.
Right.
You're actually more generous than I am, because those people that are in the lower level, I've now decided they're acquaintances.
Okay, right.
So, because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want to reveal to them.
Yeah.
You don't know. You're still building a relationship there.
Absolutely. You're
But-
not sure where your trust level is.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's a huge piece of this. It's the trust level. But
Yeah.
the big thing that I was listening to you all thinking is, when we ourselves mess up,
Yeah.
we truly do need to remember that it's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to avoid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's so good,
My
Pam.
thoughts.
No, that's really good. And our daughter Evangeline's here, so I'll say this in front of her. Nobody wants to feel like they're wrong or has messed up. And a lot of times our first reaction to that is, I didn't do that, or that wasn't me, or that's not what I
Right.
meant to do. Those weren't my intentions. And from the time she was very little, when she would say that, I would say, you did mess up, and we still love you. Even more, because we're talking about this now.
Right.
I've also messed up 17 times today. It's okay. It's okay. You're still loved. And I think that's what we need to be reminded of every day. We're still loved. We are going to mess up on the regular.
Do you have
It's
that?
okay.
Do you have that explanation apology?
What's that one?
I'm so sorry I said that. It's just that when you do this, it triggers, and then when you and the thing,
not
and
a
so
real
before it's all
apology.
over, all I've done is listed all the things you did wrong,
Yeah,
and
that's
their
right.
apology to you.
You really drove me to it when
Yeah.
you did this. I was like, oh, okay. Okay,
So,
pretty sure you
you
were in the
know,
car too.
There are things about apologizing for something, or being asked to apologize for something you don't believe that you did, that you don't believe you actually were wrong. But we've gotten to the place where we can sincerely say, in some exchange, I am so sorry for the role I played in that. I'm so sorry for the way I contributed to that, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And I can examine my heart, and you can examine your heart, and we can identify, even if that doesn't agree necessarily with the laundry list that the other person wants you to agree to. It's like the plea deal. Okay, well, if you'll admit to all these things, you can go free. Okay, that's a difficult thing.
It is.
yeah.
Anybody ever had to apologize for something that you know you didn't really do? I mean, and be willing to do that. I mean, there's a point in a relationship, and you can word it in such a way, I feel like, that you're true to yourself. But that's one of the things where, you know, as humans, we misunderstand each other every day. I mean, it's just, we think differently. We have different perspectives and backgrounds. And so a lot of times we've hurt someone, even though that totally was not our intention. So there's an extra level of humility. I have a few stories in my mind that I can remember where I had to just say, I'm really sorry. You know,
Right.
that hurt you. And I knew that really wasn't the way that I meant it or my intention. But to be willing to say that, I think love is willing sometimes
Yes.
to be able to do that and say, I'm sorry for the role I played in that. So what about you guys? Anybody else have thoughts on honesty or why you feel like it's hard to?
Or difference between religion and this other thing that we experience, or any of those things. Don't rush the stage. We'll make sure that all of you get heard.
You did kind of pick a tough topic.
I did. I didn't. I should have done some questions.
Brian Hyman, come on up. You called this meeting. Come up to the microphone. I'll ask you something. He's like, I did. Come on up. Have you had an experience, and you don't have to tell details, of course, but where you were willing to admit wrong to another person, and that brought you closer? I mean, have you had experiences like that where there was more freedom that came in the relationship because of that? Or how about in your relationship with God?
Well, I'm gonna take it a little bit different.
You take it where you want to
of
take
what- what you're talking.
Answer the question. Sit down.
Assimilate.
No, I think the thing that I've been thinking about as you guys were sharing is, you know, with the transparency, it takes gaining some confidence and trust in who you're talking to in order to bare your soul, right? And it's kind of like sometimes these things don't happen overnight to get to that upper rung, like you talked about, of your close friends. And I think the thing for me, and it seems like it happens a lot of times in the community, is that you get to a point where you feel like you can trust someone and you bare your soul to them,
Yeah.
and then it bites you in the ass.
Oh, yeah, that happens. Yeah,
And
sometimes.
you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I worked so hard and I thought this person was up here, you know, but really that person didn't have my back. You know, they
Yeah.
weren't going to see me through or hear me through the way I thought that they might. And so therefore you're a lot less likely to trust the next person. You know, even when
Yes.
maybe you feel prompted in your spirit to confide in somebody about some really tough topics, you're like, oh no, man, I know how this went last time. I have read this chapter before, and it did not end well for me. And so as you guys were sharing, that's, you know, I was kind of thinking at the other approach where instead of somebody confiding in me is when people that I have confided in, that in my head, I'm like, I don't think I should have trusted them with my feelings
Yeah.
the way that I did. And so therefore I'm a lot less likely to trust the next person
Yeah.
because it didn't end well.
Yeah,
And
no,
so-
that's super tough. And so to take what you're saying and reverse it in ways that we can do better with that is anytime anybody's willing to reveal anything to us, if we can respond in unconditional love, even if we're shocked, even if we're sad, we're like, what? No. You know, if we can, oh my God.
Well-
if you can respond in unconditional love. And I've had conversations with people where they maybe revealed something in a close conversation, and I left thinking they're going to feel weird now. And so I've been prompted, so to speak, or had the idea to text them later that night. Hey, I just want you to know, thank you so much for sharing that with me. That meant so much for you to share your struggle, and I'm thankful for your friendship. And what that does is it takes it out of the, oh my God, I never even talk to them when I see them at Walmart or Aldi or whatever, and reassures. I think we can be better at that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because I think too, like when that happens to me, I think to myself, did I, was it a problem with me? Did I overshare?
Right.
Or why did I think I could trust this person and be transparent with them when I couldn't? And so that's really hard when you start doubting your own judgment to open up, because I'm sure we've all been in situations where you've shared things that are uncomfortable and you kind of in gray areas, whether it be in your spirituality, in your personal life or whatever. And it comes back and it gets you, and then you're just kind of, it's like the dominoes just fall at that point. You're like, screw it, man. I'm not doing this again. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what
I don't
about
know though, but it's, there's also, it's very difficult to get some of the benefits any other way. I've absolutely overshared with people before, like tonight. And, but I think about the number of times I've had conversations with Anjanette or with Jared or with Jason, and the ending result of that has been so life-giving, a place I probably would not have gotten to on my own. And so I'm glad that there was not a moment, or I'm glad that I didn't say, well, I jacked this up before, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
Because I would have missed out on what we've had together.
But that's hard.
It is hard.
Maybe we have to keep taking those risks.
You have to kind of figure out who those people are.
Yeah.
And you can kind of do that in bite sizes and say, I'm going to throw this small thing out, see how this goes. I'm not going to unload my whole life story now. We'll just see how this goes. And if that feels good and right, and they can be trusted with it, then maybe next time we'll do more. Or you can find yourself with a professional counselor, which is an amazing gift to have. And that's a whole other thing, that someone who's seen your life not in the middle of it, from unrelated to it. And,
cuss in the mic. You got it? Do you want to switch?
No. And no, because there's such a value from someone seeing outside of you. I get into my mind, it's a loop. I will lose sleep repeating the same album over and over and over again until I can get with someone that I trust and say, okay, well, this is what's happening. This is what I'm thinking. And they look at you like, what? Why would you think that? That's dumb. No, let's not do that. So, having a counselor, having somebody in that capacity that can look at your life from the outside in and see things, I think that's so good. So if you can't find the person in your life who you can trust with that, then go to the other party. Right?
Thank you, Brian. You did good.
Good job, Brian.
Since we called you out. You're so awesome. Dad, I'm going to call you out really quick if you don't mind. Why do you think it is that God requires honesty from us? Or at least that we feel like that's what God requires from us. Yeah.
Such a lonely word. Go ahead. Sorry.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
For me, if I take all of the teachings of Jesus, which I follow, I find Jesus giving a composite description of the heart. And what he is asking for is nothing, but it's everything. It's our heart. Yeah. And my definition, through all of Jesus' teachings and stories, would be, if he did fill in the blank, he would say that the heart is the place of complete honesty. And so if I can be at that place of complete honesty with him and complete honesty with others, I'm really at peace. Yeah. And amazing things happen. Yeah. The place of complete honesty. Now, what do you really think? Well, only you know. You can't answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
so good.
I so love that. And I'm just thinking about our friendship together. I'm thinking about my relationship with my wife. I'm thinking about what happens when, if I have something in my life that my wife is completely disconnected from. If I had a band of friends that she didn't know anything about, or that she didn't
you?
know them. Oh, that's as far as you. But there's a thing there that interrupts that intimacy. And what I think is so amazing about what you're saying, and I think what's at the heart of this conversation, is Jesus saying, I want to be with you. I want this intimacy with you. I want this honesty with me. And so this idea of not allowing works or religion or whatever to be some bad substitute for what we have together. So intimacy, that is the thing. That's Jesus saying, hey, I really like you. I really, really love you. And I don't want there to be something in between us. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to shock me. Let's do this together. Let's have this connection. Let's have this intimacy.
Yeah, the honesty, to me, the product of honesty is intimacy.
Yes.
So when he talks about the heart, and I believe that he's saying the place of complete honesty,
Yes.
that's where it's at, and that's where the intimacy is.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
place of complete honesty, because in that place of complete honesty, there's trust.
Yeah.
And there is complete validation, and there is complete his saying that I accept you just the way you are, not as you should be, but as you are.
So in that way, do you think that this thing of religion or spirit of religion is a hindrance or a thing to get in the way of us experiencing that, a distraction in some way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you can give me 12 things that I can do and I can
Yeah.
check them off, and I
Right.
think as your wife, my daughter, alluded to earlier.
Love a good list.
Yeah, we like the list. We
Yeah.
can do the list. But for Jesus to say something to you like, okay, you're free,
Yeah.
or you are accepted.
Yes.
And as our late friend Brendan Manning used to say, it's the accepting the acceptance
Yes.
Yeah, so hard.
that is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So God has pronounced us as okay. He loves us
You
the
used
way
to
we
say that 24/7 the human spirit is crying out for anything but faith.
are. Anything but faith.
Anything but trust.
Right. I mean, I can chase around the thing about eschatology and about the end of the world and
Right.
who is the dragon and who's the bear and all of that.
You know?
And we should do another podcast on
Yeah,
that.
the dragon and the bear.
But it's because
Weird stuff for 20.
of fear.
Yes.
I must know how things are going to go,
Right.
so I can be okay in this moment.
Yeah.
I find it ironic that, or ironical.
Ironical.
I find it ironical.
It is ironical.
Whether you take Genesis as verbatim or whatever, or you take it as a poetic thing or an illustration or whatever, metaphor, that the original sin, the original temptation is, you will be God.
Yeah. Right.
Do this, and then you won't need compassion from somebody else. You won't need you won't be reliant upon this person that loves you. You can be God, and you can do all these things, and that is control. Take the wheel. Just
Yeah,
take
control.
the wheel.
Yeah.
And so that has been the human DNA from the beginning, the human struggle from the beginning. I don't want to have to be relying upon someone else to love me, to take care of me, to do this thing. I will do it. And if that means deflecting, if that means blaming, if that means doing the works and flogging myself and saying the 7 Hail Marys, I'll do that. But then it's on me. I'll just take care of it myself.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, ultimately, we need God, but we need each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And through that honesty, that transparency, that intimacy grows with Him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
with others.
I guarantee you, our friend Shayna, who my mom's been so instrumental in helping her come into faith and have a friendship with God, that's been really beautiful to watch somebody who'd never had that before and like didn't know the story of Joseph when she came to see our daughter at the musical she was in. I'm not making you feel bad, Shayna, but it's really cool to watch somebody who
great
didn't.
place to
We're in
start.
Oklahoma, right? Like everybody knows all the Bible stories. I mean, we're all like had the little felt boards and we did the things, but Shayna in her life really didn't know that. So she got introduced into our group. She was having a tough life. And my mom loved on her and my dad loved on her and said, we're going to be your family if you want that, and we're going to be your friends. And I guarantee you, instead of Shayna coming into a community that was, listen, you're going to need to clean this up and do this and be on
Assimilation.
these committees and assimilate and do this. No, what Shayna felt, and it's because I know all the people around, was, man, you know what? Life is the shit sometimes. It's really hard. We're honest about it. We love you, and let's all help each other.
Yeah.
And that when somebody sees that, they're like, oh, maybe that. I do want that.
Yeah.
I don't want the rest of the stuff that I've seen. And so I feel like my whole life has been this process of undoing in a way. I was like the good girl, the type A list maker, went on the mission trips, did all those things. And my heart was sincere in that, I will tell you. And there were some great things and life experiences and some really good things that happened in people's life because I was willing to do it that way, if that makes sense. But I feel like I've spent the rest of my life trying to say, in honesty, no. Life is hard for everybody.
Right.
I'm the same as you. I'm not any better than you. I'm worse than you. And we all need God's help and his love. And one of the best compliments that people will give me sometimes, if I can just talk about myself for a minute,
Please,
but they'll
why
say
don't
you're
I
very relatable.
allow myself to introduce
They'll say you're
myself?
very relatable. And I'll say, oh my God, thank you so much. I've had to work so hard at that to be regular. I know that sounds funny to you guys, but it's true. But that's what I feel like attracts people to who Jesus is and to the love. And the reality is that honesty in that it's hard. We're here together. And like Prince said, we're all just walking each other home. I love that one.
So, in closing.
In closing, that was good.
Wow, so formal.
That sounded very
Yeah.
ministerly
Normally
of you.
we just kind of hit this in stride, but since you're here.
Well, we've never done one with people here, so it's different.
there-
In closing.
In closing, let me leave you with these three things.
Yes.
Okay. So, in closing, it is about intimacy. It is about religion is the substitute, is the wall, is the thing that stands between you and Jesus and says, you don't need Jesus. Let's do these 12 steps instead. It's not about 12 steps program.
No, that's awesome. Please do that.
Please do that.
We should do that.
After tonight. No, the point of it is, as Jason used to say, that the heart cries out 24/7, anything but faith. Well, anything but intimacy, anything about me needing to be with you, having to look at myself naked and say, okay, yes, I see this too. But there is this depth and relief and joy and everything that you hope for in that intimacy. Yes, it is uncomfortable at times to be naked. But the end result of that is to be alive and to know a love that surpasses anything else that you're going to manufacture through the steps and the works and the plans. And so that's critical. And then this thing that we keep coming back to over the last couple of months, it's not what, it's why. You may choose not to cuss, and God bless you, but why? Why are you not cussing? It's not the what, it's the why. You may choose to dress a certain way. You may choose to work a certain job. You may choose to do this. You may choose to go here. You may choose to be the person who shows up at 8:59 every single day. It's all great. It's not the what, it's why. Why am I doing this? Is this suggesting something that I'm covering? Is this suggesting something I'm doing to earn the points? Can I not let somebody else do the job because I want and need the points? Mm-hmm. I need the validation. I need the thing. I need the forgiveness. And I believe that Jesus forgives me, but I'm still going to do these prayers and I'm still going to feel bad about myself for a week and 7 days. Okay, it's not what, but why? Remorse has a lot of pain to it. Remorse has a lot of guilt to it. That's a flag that says something's happening over here. You should look over here. Okay, great. I'm going to look over here. But the flag keeps waving, even though I'm acknowledging and moving, and the guilt flag is still flying. Well, why? What is happening in this moment? It's not what, it's why. And that's a thing that continues to haunt us in our conversations that we have and the things that we continue to look at. So we're not trying to talk anybody into being drinkers or cussers or sailors or more. It's
I don't
more,
know. Being a sailor could be fun.
Brandy, you're a fine girl. Yeah. So the point is just asking ourselves, why am I doing this? And then we want to encourage you that when you pray, to be honest in that conversation, to do that. Most of all, we just want to thank you for showing up tonight on the first ever Brian Hyman Mixed Up
Sponsored.
meetup.
Your name's going on the t-shirts, buddy.
Yeah.
You know it.
So is there anything else in closing that we need to say or do?
You guys are brave for coming. It's weird to talk about this stuff, but it's also good to talk about this stuff. And the fact that we invited each of you is because you're open-hearted and you're open-minded, and we knew that you'd add to the conversation, and we just wanted to see how it would go to talk about some of this stuff. So thank you for being here. And even though you couldn't be here in person, listening audience. Yes, listening audience.
We love you. We adore you. We're so glad to have this conversation with you. We know that we'll see many of you out on the streets later, and we'll have this conversation again with you, which is great. But we will be back, and we will do this again.
That's right. And next time, only energy drinks.
Just us, just the twos of us, and energy drinks and honesty. All right.
I didn't know you were going to sing. That's pretty good.
Peace out, friends.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it with a friend. And check out Pioneer Dream's other podcast, Dreamers Live, a conversation about living intentionally. And Got a Minute, a podcast that pairs short humor columns with original music. This podcast is a presentation of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners.